Welcome back to season 5 of The Secret Library. This week we're going to be talking about time and a small mindset shift I made that really changed a ton for me in terms of being able to fit writing into my schedule. So a little story. Several years ago when we moved to Germany, I wanted to brush up on my German, so I ended up in a language class back when we did things in person. And during a discussion, one of my fellow students, an English native speaker, said the equivalent in German of, "This is really important to me, so I have to make time to do it." Our teacher made a funny face when she said that and said, "Can you repeat that?" And so she said it again. And he said, "What do you mean, make time? It's impossible to make time. You can't do that." And both she and I piped up and said, "Well, you can make time in English." This kind of caused my head to explode. It was true. It was simply that the German language acknowledges the fact that we all get the same amount of time. It's not possible to make more time just because something is important to you. So I encourage you to remove this possibility from your head. If you have a very busy schedule, if you feel overwhelmed, and you're trying to make time to write, it's a losing battle. There's no way you're going to be able to invent more time. And if you're asking yourself to do so, you're never going to be able to get to writing. So instead, what I've had to do is I've started thinking of time as a choice. According to my German teacher, it is possible to find time. It is possible to spend time. If I start thinking about how am I spending my time, this is a question to start asking yourself. How am I spending my time? Am I happy with what I'm spending my time on? Is what I'm spending my time on important? Or do I find I'm doing things out of habit that really aren't that useful to me? So instead of putting the pressure on yourself to try to invent time, by paying attention to how you're actually spending your time, then you can start to find time in the gaps and in the opportunities that are presented by things you're spending your time on that maybe aren't so important. I have found that not asking myself to be some sort of deity who's able to conjure time out of nowhere, out of thin air, has made my thoughts about my writing schedule far more realistic. And I've also learned that when you find 5 or 10 minutes, you're often able to accomplish much more than you think. By taking 5 or 10 minutes in the morning with a cup of coffee and jotting down some notes about my project, I've been quite successful at building up the story of a new novel. Whereas if I had been asking myself to make time in the midst of my already busy schedule, that just makes me tired thinking about it, and I don't want to do it. So if you're feeling the same way, ask yourself, how am I spending my time? And what can I shift around? How can I make some choices so I can find time for writing, even if it's in small steps at first? I hope this has been helpful to you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you'd like to hear more about my writing story and additional context around this exercise with time, check out the time episode of season 5 of the Secret Library podcast, linked in the description below this video. If you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and share with any other writers who have difficulty making, finding, or spending time on writing.